she basically sort of railed into me, being like, you're using beautiful naked women, and yet you're saying that the work is about you, but yet you're basically using objectified, beautiful naked women. So she keeps asking me, like, what's the connection? And so I'm just thinking about that a lot. A lot of my work throughout my life has been sort of reactionary to life experiences. So, if you go back through my career, you would see this more. But it started when I was in the United Arab Emirates. So I was living in a Muslim country, very restrictive. And so like my knee-jerk reaction, of course, was to be like, well, I'm gonna do the sexiest stuff I can ever do. And so I did. And I made these original photographs that are under all of this, because at a certain point, about like a year into that, I just sort of got to a thing of like, I'm building and building and building, and I'm making and making and making, but at what cost? Like, why am I doing that? Well, like, what's the benefit of creating these elaborate scenarios, getting these beautiful people, putting these great wardrobes on them? Like, what does it mean? And so I started to try to think about how much of that I could remove while still having some of the underlying intent or meaning or concept from the original photographs. So what I started to do here was, I'm not making new photographs. So for the past 4 years, I have not been doing this. And so this is 3 years worth of work, more or less. And I have not been making new photographs. I've been revisiting old photographs and trying to take my, for lack of better words, or more mature perspective on older work and try and update it for a different me and a different world and a different perspective on them. Because when I made them originally, I had a very particular thing in my mind, and now when I look at those photographs, they accomplished that, but now to me they mean something completely different. And so I'm trying to address that new meaning because of life experiences, age, wisdom, whatever kind of stuff you want to put to it. And so I'm trying to basically take some of the things that interested me in my youth and make them more, I guess, more mature, for lack of a better word. So like, to a certain extent, I'm taking this immature idea of like naked women and trying to make it into a more mature, romantic, philosophical, conceptual elements behind it. And that's the story I'm sticking to. I don't care what the process is. So it's like the process of coordinating a photo shoot, process of printing, process of framing, like whatever the process is, I love processes. So the amount of, I'm trying to put as many processes as I can into these, but I love the process, and to a certain extent, like I was making these, and I love them, but they're just design projects almost. I mean, that you're like Googling my own work, but their shapes, their forms, their lines, their color fields, like they don't really have a thing sort of in them. But the addition of the text for me sort of elevated it a little bit. It gave it. If you actually read any of that stuff, I would be horribly embarrassed.
Well,
but
I was going to ask, is the text like readable? So definitely I would be.
it is. Yes, it is. It's also,
almost unreadable.
Some of it's easier than others, and that has to do with the actual materials. Because like the one here on the right, the silver one, something was in the material that like when I wrote on it, it just like soaked in and bled away. I have no idea why that happened. But then some of the others, and I'm learning what this is like I can put some different surfaces to make it. But like the one on the face in the middle, that one is very legible, very readable. And that was the last one I made. But then like intentionally, like the one all the way on the far left with the big field of gold. It's gonna sound really bad. Like the reason for the metals in all of the works is that there's always something that I want to keep safe and protected. and so it's armored, it's protected, it's got a metal surface, a shield, or whatever you want to refer to it as. But so like in that particular big gold one, I put the most private, most intimate thing that I will never share with anybody.
Other than this way.
It's there, it's written there, and if you can somehow figure it out, it's the most private, intimate thing that I will not talk with anybody about. Even my wife, not my family, nobody knows this thing, but it's there. So it makes me feel good to have like gotten it out, even though I know nobody's actually